Now. Yep. What's going on, y'all?
Yo.
I screw everything up, huh?
Yo. The whole balance is thrown off.
Good. Man, that's dude.
No, don't say that's dude. And the funny thing about it was
Zoom.
screaming at the camera like, am I off yet? No, bro. You still
No, I hit the little arrow and it took my video, put it to the side somewhere. So I'm like, am I still on or not? Then it kicked me out the room and I came back in the room.
Yeah, you need that what's the name? You need that
Internet.
yeah, something different than that what you using, your phone?
No, I'm on a PC. I'm on a laptop.
Then it should be popping right up.
It ain't popping right up, man.
I don't know. Like when you
so when I put it on my screen, right?
Yeah, when you wave the cursor over, you don't press nothing, and then you should get like the hang up button, the microphone, the camera, and all that stuff. You see it? I guess tap in Tuesday today. We teaching lessons.
There you go. There you go. Good job, AD.
Oh, use this tape 2020.
No.
There we go. There we go.
I'm gonna tell you what happened. I seen the buttons, but the buttons came up over you guys' video. So I'm like, if I hit that button over y'all video, over y'all face, it would cut y'all off. It didn't come up over my face.
Interesting.
It took you 15 minutes to look. Yeah. What's going on, y'all?
That's right, Jack.
That was a good laugh. I'm glad you blessed us with that today. That was much needed, bro. But it's Tap In Tuesdays. I hope y'all doing all right out there today. How y'all doing? I'm glad y'all checked in with me today. I ain't hear nothing, so I ain't know how the day was gonna go. How y'all doing though?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. You know what I mean? Glad to be here. You know, it's Tuesday.
Time.
Like I told you before, I'm pretty excited for Saturday because I'll be graduating from college. So it's my last week of work. So I'm good.
I'm glad to hear that, AD. I'm happy to be a part. I'm glad we got Tap In Tuesdays. Just have a good conversation, and congratulations anytime anybody level up with education. I'm
appreciate
all for
that.
it. What you picking up on the
Foundation of Teachers Education.
Nice. Okay.
So I already work in education, been doing it for 19 years. So, you know, when you got a lot of experience but nothing behind your name, people rather talk to you. You got something behind your name with no experience. So if I can combine the two, you know what I mean, then I'd be good to go. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, getting over with it. Everything will be virtual. So
yeah.
Long time coming.
You still in? I'm still waiting on my information. Did you get the information yet on everything, on the links and everything? I want to make sure I lock that in my calendar. I don't want to miss that, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it because it's just a website you go to, but I'm gonna send it to you this evening.
Okay, bet. What's well, I ain't even gonna discuss what's new with you. We gonna hold that off. But if y'all, what I like about this session that we're doing right here is I was able to bring my self-care Sunday session, you know, and with the talk topic tea session on Thursday on this Tuesday, to where, you know what I mean, as you spoke on Dr. Classic, on how we're bringing the community together, the group together. So I'm like, okay, well, let me bring everybody in. Like I was telling you, I wanted to get Jared on a Sunday show or something like that. That way we all can just be familiar with one another, because who knows, AD and Jared might kick off a conversation that me and you can't kick off, and it might be something we might be interested in listening to. You know what I mean? So let's just keep the unity going. I like this, and I'm happy to see both of y'all today. So I'm glad y'all tapped in.
Keep surrounding me with great energy, man. I don't go off of luck. It's all based off of vibe and energy. So I'm with that.
It's the only way to go.
Most definitely. Y'all see anything new in the news going on? I see that. I see Biden.
You trying to set me up?
No. I see Biden
Tuesday, man.
talking about the vaccine situation.
Okay, so let me pose a question since you brought up the vaccine.
Okay.
Are you taking it or are you not? And tell me why you feel one way or another.
I would,
Okay.
for the simple fact, I get the flu shot every year.
Okay.
And the main reason I do that because I work with children. I work in elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
and working around other people's kids and stuff like that. And I don't want to, they always sick and it brings something home to my family. So now we talking about some with the COVID because my school is shut down a couple of times because of the COVID.
Right.
So I would feel more comfortable with that once it's proven.
Okay. I'm with
Yeah.
that.
Me personally, I don't think I'm going for it. Just off the strength of I can't even for sure tell myself if I've even experienced anything that I can call COVID-19. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or I have never tested or anything that said I was positive or negative or anything. So my thought goes into why should I put something in my body to prevent me from something that I haven't even experienced yet for myself.
Yeah.
But I understand, like in life, is going to probably be some things that do come our way where it's going to be like you have to have proof that you are vaccinated, and that's the stuff that I believe that people got to start preparing themselves for. This is where the big change is going to happen. That new world order that people start to speak on. This is when that's going to start going on because you're going to start to be limited because you're not going to have proof or you're not going to actually have the actual vaccination. You know what I mean? Done.
Yeah, I think for me, and I personally, I don't plan on taking the vaccine, and I don't get the flu vaccine. I don't feel that taking this vaccine is in my best interest. And I work in healthcare and I work in corporate operations, and I see these numbers all the time, and I get all the alerts. And I know Pfizer is the one that's going out first with the rollout, but it's so rushed to me. I feel that there are a lot of unknowns with the virus itself, and for us to have a vaccination against it that we're gonna roll out to a lot of people, I just feel like it was a rush time. We don't have any like banked data, and I just think about like just being African American people. It's been a struggle to treat us. They have always done things like for high blood pressure, they put us on 2 medications out the bat just to see which one is going to work because they don't really truly know how to treat us. So when I think of vaccines, I don't think that we were put into the equation necessarily, African American people and what it means to treat us from it. And it comes in 2 doses. The part about it that worries me is I haven't had COVID-19, but a part of the vaccine is going to include the virus, going to include the strand. So to be put into you to give your body enough, just like the flu, to give your body enough ammo to try and fight it back. So people are inevitably going to be sick behind it. But the struggle with me is it comes in 2 waves as well. So I have to take one, have to kind of see what's going to happen, pray for the best, and then have to go back and get a follow-up for this. And I don't feel like we had enough time to see where it's going to be. So just in my line of sight, I want to step back. I want to give people some time to figure it out and fill it out. And I'll just take some really, safety measures. I don't mind being in the house. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mind just being away from people, 6 feet distance. I do 12. But I'm kind of worried about the rollout of this vaccine. And to your point, I'm kind of worried about the fact that is it going to be mandated at some point? Are we going to have to do this at some point, regardless of how we feel about it?
And then another thing is, go ahead, AD, my bad.
I would say I think, and I've had this conversation essentially with my mother. She's a nurse practitioner, so she's in the field, much like yourself.
Yeah.
And, she kind of sees both sides of the fence. And my opinion is, I don't think it's a wrong answer.
Yeah.
I think it's an individual thing. I think that regardless of what option that you choose, understand that there could be some backlash behind it, maybe a lifestyle change. Even someone who takes it, there could be a side effect.
Right.
Or someone who don't take it, maybe they could wind up catching from somebody else. So I think it can go both ways. But if a person told me they're not going to take it, I don't look at them no different because I think it's an individual choice and everybody has a logical reason why.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another thing that worries me is how were they able to come up with a vaccine in under a year? Like we're speaking on a pandemic here, you know what I'm saying? And you come up with a vaccine in under a year, and you're literally kind of force people into taking it.
What did out there before? Obama had warned, I think, Trump about this back in 18 or 16 or whatever. So it was already something that was already being discussed or knew that it was a possibility of happening. So you would think that maybe they were somewhat prepared to a certain extent.
Not
because
but
I think
you're able to put the vaccine together itself for something that you don't know that you're preparing for.
right.
So,
I mean, I don't
like
know.
this,
Yeah.
right? I hear you,
Right.
and
And they don't know. And they don't
Right.
know.
Right.
That's
Right.
the struggle. They have no clue.
and that's the thing that's like scary about it, because now it's like, okay, how do you know the vaccine won't trigger something worse? I mean, yeah, you might have did test on this and test on that, but everybody is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the backlash for me would be either way, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know what I'm saying? Like if I do, and if there's some side effects to it, and something like that, I'm like, man, why? Why'd I do that? But if I don't do it, and then I get sick, because I've been fortunate that I haven't lost anybody in my family to it, or anybody in my family hasn't gotten sick from it.
Yeah.
So for me, my mindset is different than those who may have been directly affected by it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe those who've been directly affected are more adamant about yay or nay. You know what I mean? So I think either way it goes, it's always going to be, should I or shouldn't I?
Yeah.
So
I think it definitely should be a choice. It's your choice. I want to know what you brothers thought, and I'm glad I know what I'm thinking is. And to segue into another piece that's in the news is the leadership was so poor that we all three of us got different thoughts of why we doing what we doing and why we not doing what we doing.
Right.
This is a good picture and why we need solid people in leadership. Like we have to lead people to make conscious, knowing decisions, and we can't do that right now. I feel like we getting clouded out the truth, the real story, and leadership gotta. I'm hoping that the new ticket that comes in can connect more conversations and people right now.
I got a question about leadership. I've heard some people say, and I just want to get you guys' opinion, that they felt like Obama did nothing for the black people.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all agree with that?
Say it one more time.
Obama didn't do anything for black folks.
Of course he didn't.
Ring, ring. Why you say that, Terrence? Why you don't think Obama did nothing for his folks?
It was a pacified thing. That's what it was. And it's not me saying that he didn't do anything for us as a culture of people is not based on his decision. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee if he had it where he could have done something specifically for us or something like that, he would have went forth with doing it. But the whole Obama situation, I feel it was like a pacifier. You know what I'm saying? Things were starting to get a little bit too abrupt. You know what I mean? A lot of things go on behind closed doors. So we don't know what happens when you're having council meetings and government officials get together and get to talking. You know what I mean? We're so kept out of those conversations. So stuff could have got to a point where we don't understand where it could have got heated. And it's like, okay, to hush people up, let's go ahead and let's slide you know what I'm saying? One of them in here, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure the conversation went something like that. Let's let one of them do it, you know what I'm saying? That way they do feel like there is justice and equality here, you know what I'm saying? But what ended up
given to us? You think he was kind of placed in position for us?
Yeah. I don't feel like it was you know what I mean? Everybody get out to vote and everything, because how many people can get out to vote him in, but how all them people wouldn't get out to keep one man out? That don't make sense.
I
Because
didn't
the one that
go for it.
But I was going to say the one that should have been kept out. All these people thought about him saving them money.
Exactly.
And we didn't even, you know what I'm saying?
The crazy thing is, I didn't never thought about it like that. With I never looked at it from that point of view. I think that seat is unrealistic to what we as the people believe the power is. The president doesn't run the United States. I feel like I want to be clear in saying that the president is not
I don't mean to cut you off, but one thing that I always tell people, and one thing that I enforce with this election right here, I said they're getting out and they're always enforcing the presidential election, but they never enforce the one that's following behind it that matters. That's the one that matters. So you don't get to get out the vote and the ads and the commercials and everything for who's going to be in the council seats, who's going to be in this branch, that branch. You don't get that. Only thing they teach you is about the presidential branch, and you're stuck there. Like, you gotta, the other elections matter more than this election does, and you wonder why you can't get change because you're not implementing where the change needs to be made.
Let's have that conversation. So to segue off, and I come back to Obama because I don't think that he was really making he couldn't make a lot of decisions that maybe he wanted to, just because I think he had more leaders, more people were in control, really. But thinking about, I think we have to take more responsibility. When I say we, our community needs to take a little bit more responsibility at trying to learn what's really at stake. Like, it's so much information, fast, quick, in your face. Like, we had to go get an understanding so that we can talk about it, so that we can do different things, so we can make different choices. Our community has to put in front of us, who should we be voting for our government branch? Who should we be voting for the court district judges? Who should we be voting for in our community that are going to make decisions like how much quest you get, where your kids can go to school at, how the money is zoned off. We're not making good decisions as far as talking about things that matter in our community, like get out and vote for these seats because this is where you're going to be most affected. They do make a big push for president because that is a united thing that all of the kingdoms around us need to see too. Nations need to see this because we are a powerful country. So this is I want to call it the format. This is the strategy here, but the division under all of this is where all of decision making, the feelings, because people aren't making fact-based decisions. You go on for how you feel. You got in line to vote in this election because you felt like Trump needed to go. It didn't matter who was coming in behind him. It was just, okay, Trump can't be the one that come in behind him. So I think it's more of us taking a lot more responsibility in our inner city, our inner communities to say, hey, this is what's important, and us being willing to listen. Because you work in education, I've worked in education. Terrence, you do as well. Like, people have a hard time listening to things. Like, they know it already. They want to do it their way, and we miss a lot of stuff. So we got to be willing to open up and listen to what AD got to say. Like, we got to listen to the fact that we need to go make votes where it's going to count. So that's my take on it, really, with the community part. It's not in our community, but people who have access to good education, who are not poor in education, our suburban communities, they have knowledge to know that these seats are going to matter. So if you go vote, you'll get the right people in office, and you'll see your sons come home when they get a drug trial because they got good judges in place. You'll see your daughters go to good schools because they have good board members and community members in place. So we need to get that kind of mobility.
You made some valid points, and I want to add to that. I think the reason why the presidential election was so heavy was because Trump's his reign as president the last 4 years was so terrible. It was extremely magnified as well as it should have been because of a lot of racial stuff, a lot of inequalities, and he didn't denounce racism and hatred and stuff like that. That pretty much will force people to come out and say, well, hold on, this ain't. So it was magnified, especially when they talk about all over television, you read about it in the papers and things like that. That's the first thing. The second thing is, I think I may have told you before, T, one time when I was working in another school district, and our neighborhood school was in a real urban area. And I was telling the guy that worked with me, I said, man, our school was a voting place and no one would come out and vote in his neighborhood except the elderly people.
Yep.
No one under the age of like 65 would come out and vote. None of the kids, parents, nothing like that came out and voted because they could care less. And when I would ask these students, which was pretty much grades kindergarten through fifth, none of them even knew what a mayor was. And my coworker was shocked, like, man, how'd you know? I said, because if the parents aren't coming out here paying attention to it, why would the kids come out and pay attention to it? Right. So that's the problem as well, because that's becoming a generational thing where it's all relied on us. But after what happened with this situation with Trump and guys coming out and voting, by the herds, hopefully that can change moving forward, so things can get better as far as who you vote for in your local municipalities and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm with you 100% on that. And that's what I was trying to stress to my students at the former school that I was actually working at, how important it is to actually know your community. You know what I mean? We all care so much about the president, you know what I mean, and the world, the things that happen in the world, but how about we pay attention to what's actually within our reach? Something that our voice can actually count for, that we can see it count for. You know what I mean? Like how many people are actually going out to vote for who's, you know what I mean, who's going to be the alderman? You know what I mean? Who's in your district? Who's running your district? Who's making the decisions for the public schools? Who's making the decisions for how many liquor stores are being built in your community, in your neighborhood? Get out and vote about these things. Go to these community meetings, these town halls, and sit in and actually see what's being discussed and put your voice in there. Don't just sit back and think because you cast a ballot that you're using your voice. Your voice is much bigger than that. And the more of us that can come together and actually use our voice and talk about what it is that we want and we need as a culture and as a community from what we see, the more awareness that we can bring and the change can possibly come.
But here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. A lot of people don't care as much about what's being built in your neighborhood, such as liquor store and stuff like that, much they do about getting that stimulus money.
Yeah.
And,
you're not lying about that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why people pay attention to certain parts of the government, not all parts of the government, because I believe you can pay attention to both. I pay attention to both. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, the stuff you're talking about, you 100% right. But who really pitches a fit about this is going on in my neighborhood? Why are they putting this here? Why is this going on? Because people are kind of immune to a lot of stuff that's going on around them, and they're more worried about other stuff.
They whisper about it.
Right. We don't really get involved. We always think of the conversation about our streets. You know, I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I live in Vegas now. These streets are immaculate out here. Like you can do anything on these streets, and they keep it clean. They're cleaning crews every morning. When I had to commute to work every morning, I mean, cleaning crews all through here. Like it stays beautiful, right? People, you feel bad about littering, and if something is out of place, these people will. Roy. So I think it's one of those things where if we look in Milwaukee, where I think about it, we didn't complain about streets. We didn't complain about how they filled potholes. We didn't complain about how long the projects took. We didn't complain about them not putting up proper signage to say it's going to be a huge bump. You know, we tearing our cars up. I remember bending my rim in Milwaukee with the potholes. But our community didn't complain enough about it. We didn't take time to write letters. I sent in a letter one time for that same rim, and the government sent back, or I think it was might have been an alderman, sent back a letter just to say it wasn't enough complaints to deem this a unsafe or, caution area. So we can't grant the request to pay for your tire. But that's just us by the quantities. But you go out here, or you go out to Brookfield, you go out to Wauwatosa, Waukesha, there are tons of letters. I mean, they will go to the city hall and make a complete complaint about what's going on in their community. We have to get more involved and be that vocal. Let me tell you one thing that's on the docket. I bet you we don't even know. Right now, they have already kind of declared the opiate a pandemic. No, I keep saying pandemic because we're in pandemic. What is the one before it? Not pandemic. Epidemic. So there's epidemic. I can't even say anything but pandemic right now. There's an epidemic around the opiate kind of function. And because think about back in the 80s, 90s.
But it's only an epidemic because of the community that it's affecting.
Correct. So now they're willing to wash off all of the misdemeanors that had to do with drug charges, because that same community back in the 80s and 90s are now unable to get solid work based off of their background. If we call in and vote on that, that will work for us too. But we don't even know what's sitting on the docket. It became an epidemic because of the community, and now it's becoming something that's on the docket to be voted away people's backgrounds because it's affecting the same community. We have to get around that. The reason why they are even on the docket is because they've been vocal. We don't get vocal about the right stuff. We go on Facebook and rant. We go, we sit around and talk and rant. We have to also rant to the people that can make decisions and changes for us.
And that's where I was speaking on getting out to those council meetings, because there's too much secrecy with it. We sit within homes and we discuss this amongst each other, but we're not actually going, like you said, to the forefront, and we're speaking to them and letting them know how we feel. But we have to do it in numbers. You can't see 4 or 5 people that stand for the cause and then you want to stand behind them for the cause. No, you have to stand for the cause on your own. You got to use your 2 feet and do just as much as they're doing, and not let them do the work and just show that you support them. That's what's going on a lot in the community. one person stands forward and everybody just stands behind them. No, everybody stand forward to where they don't know who's the leader. They don't know who to single out. They don't know whose job is bigger because everybody's playing their part and everybody's doing their position.
Here's the thing, and I speak for myself on this one. I make it my business to educate myself on what's going on around me on the daily basis.
Right, Jack.
Whether it's something political, I'm not saying I'm the biggest person into politics. I know enough to know, you know what I mean, what's going on and what's about to happen, and to be able to indulge in conversation, local and, you know, national. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't even know when the city council meeting is. A lot of people don't know where it's held. They see things after the fact, and then they sit back and say, well, why didn't this or why didn't that? But for the most part, man, we as individuals have to educate ourselves if we want to make change and make a difference. A lot of people don't educate themselves. A lot of people sit back and pick and choose what to discuss and what to make a complaint about, man. But I want to look at the totality of things, because a lot of times this can lead to that as to why they're doing this, which could turn into this, which could be beneficial, or it could be a detriment to all of us in society. So I just think we need to educate ourselves more about exactly what's going on. What are the issues and how to deal with it.
And you know, we speak all the time about everything starts with self. And that's where I stand now, where I say everybody got to stand up and do their job and play their position, because we're too busy worried about what everybody else is doing. That's why I feel fine, you know what I mean, with a lot of the situations and stuff that go on, because I know me as a one person alone, I won't be able to make the biggest change in the world, but to know that I'm adding to it, that means something to me.
Yeah. So then, have you guys heard of that Freedom Georgia project? The 90 acres of land that they're going to use in Georgia, where it's going to be like an all black and brown community. Have you guys heard about that in the news?
I read a little something about that.
We have to talk about it in depth. I was wondering, and take a look at it. We can talk about it next time we get on here. But I was wondering if they are going to be able to be a successful community. Like, I always wonder about the pitfalls. Like, are they governing themselves? Are they going to have a township where they are, you know, having their own judges, lawyers, like police officers? I wonder how deep that project is going to get. But we can talk about it. You think? I think it can if they understand commercialism. They understand how the commercial side of it goes, the financial pieces. I think that could be in a good space. I would love to see that. I would travel to see what that looks like.
Well, you know, Atlanta is one of the places. That's why when all the stuff went down to Georgia Floyd stuff, and they were doing the rioting and everything, and you know, they even said like Atlanta is the one place where black folks come and own stuff. You know what I mean? Like they make a come up, like they run things around there. You know what I mean? Some major, you know what I mean, different things and stuff like that. So if the one place it can be done, it will be in Atlanta.
Right.
You know,
Georgia got it, huh?
Right.
I know we kind of before we wrap this up, I did want to just bring this up just for something, because we kind of stayed way away from the whole COVID conversation we were having. In India right now, there's something that needs to be actually paid attention to. There's a news headline going around now that experts are baffled because of a mystery illness in India where more than 500 people have been hospitalized.
Yeah.
And they have no idea to why or what it is.
And
what death behind it.
Yeah, one day. And I'm more or less like, listen, y'all, we can't take nothing else. Like, even if this is gonna happen, just like shut it down right now. Like, whoever in leadership, shut it down right now. Don't look back. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait just a second. Let me figure it out, because we already tried this already. We tried it when it was just one person that had a cold. We tried this. So now we need to pay attention to it. I read this morning, and I was thinking to myself what I said earlier. I love being at home. I guess I'm gonna just stay I'm gonna stay at home.
You figure you trying to say that the vid, ain't that what Kevin Hart called it? The vid came from all the way over in China. So don't make it seem like it's impossible for whatever is going on there to reach its way over here. You know what I mean? And we in the middle right now trying to worry about if we're going to keep 45 in office or we're going to let Biden run. And come on, don't be blinded by the entertainment and the television and stuff. Start reading and understanding what's going on in the world so that you don't be too messed up out here. And you'll be ahead of the game because they're not going to tell you everything. And one thing they're going to keep you away from always is the truth. You got to search for that on your own. You got to seek to find the truth on your own.
Well, I tell you like this, every night, like I said, I educate myself what's going on. And one of the things I watch Chris Cuomo every night, and he always emphasizes, due to the COVID, so many people of color going hungry right now. And that's something that we never talked about. What'd you say?
I ain't got no COVID, but I'm hungry right now.
There you go. I mean, they were showing last night, man, all these people in lines waiting to get food. You know what I mean? From the food pantry and stuff like that. People that had jobs, you know what I mean? That can't even afford to buy groceries anymore. We talking about millions. I mean, I think the number was like 21 million people or something like that. That's hungry right now. You know what I mean? This is all over the country.
Oh, okay.
I watch football every night on CNN at 8 o'clock, and he always talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like how the negative effects of the COVID are affecting people in their homes. The whole thing with the rent, that's about to end. The unemployment benefits is about to end. So even with that, people are still going hungry. But people don't talk about the hunger aspect of it. You know what I mean? One thing that I seen too, and I know we're trying to wrap it up, was the talk is that Biden, if he's trying to wipe away student debt up to $25,000 or $50,000, something like that, as long as you graduated. Because that's how it is in most countries. I didn't know that. That's how you do in most countries. They said in China, you don't have to pay for school unless you didn't graduate. Yeah. Because they take pride in the fact that they look at you as an asset of the community. The fact that you can go out there, get a job, you know what I mean, things like that. So those are things that are very important, because one thing Biden said was, well, if we could wipe away student debt, that's a part of stimulus, because those that are paying back student debt money, they keep that in their pocket, as well as we could try to get to some stimulus money. You know what I'm saying? So just those type of things are what I read, and I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. Especially for someone like me who's graduating soon, that's a big deal.
Man, I feel you on every level of that.
That's what's up. Well, I want to thank y'all for tapping in with me today. I like that conversation right there. Now, that was a good one.
As Tuesdays, my new Tuesday nights.
Yeah, we're gonna start doing this because, like, eventually I want to get it to where, you know what I'm saying, we have a nice little group of respectful group of us in here. You know what I'm saying? Where we can really have some cross table talk and we can kick some ideas to one another. You know what I mean? We can really tap in on Tuesdays. You know what I mean? It gives people a sense of purpose. That's all I want to do, is give people some kind of sense of purpose. That way everybody
feel like somebody.
Say it again.
Make everybody feel like somebody.
You heard me. But as always, you know what I mean? We want to thank you for running. We got Classic Talks in the building. Y'all go ahead.
Quick thing.
What you got?
No. I know we didn't get the chance to finish talking about the Obama thing. So I'm just going to lay a question out there that we can talk about next time we get together. I want you guys to really think about this. One of the things about what made me ask that question from the beginning was that a lot of people said, the reason why people look down on Obama to a certain extent, people of color, because Trump made him look bad. And I'm going to tell you exactly how. Like I said, I want you guys to think about this for the next time. Trump being so gung-ho, not giving a damn what anybody think, doing it his way, and that's it. People feel like Obama should have did the same thing, and we would have more as people of color. But Obama's mindset was, that's not the way you do business, because in the end, you're supposed to work together, not do it the way he did it, because look at where we are right now, where you drew even thicker line in the sand of hatred and division, stuff like that. So that's just something I want you guys to think about moving forward, you know what I'm saying, for the next conversation.
Yeah, I see you up there with that skin red. That's gonna be one of my bullet points when we come back.
We just want to thank you for rocking with the T-Time podcast. That's a good one. You can't end off on a note like that, because that's a whole nother.
Man, that's
right, hey, man. You know I'm intellectual, man.
Tuesday we tapping in right there on Tuesday. So I know we gonna be in here. We might have a couple other people or somebody else in here with us, but we picking up right there. You can't leave us off on that one.
Make sure you call Leroy over there.
Got you. As always, I want to leave y'all with the acronym. That's peace. That's positive energy. Always creates elevation. Peace, love, prosperity, and until next time. We out of here, y'all.
Howdy.
About it.